Let's talk about two guys who maybe aren't getting the credit that they deserve. You know, we've talked about the Chiefs linebackers and the great role that they had in the Super Bowl. We talked about Nick Bolton in particular in the fantastic role he had there, but we haven't really talked in depth about the other two guys, Leo Chenal and Willie Gay. So in this video, we're going to do that. Let's talk about the two underrated stars of Super Bowl 57, and we're going to start off with this play, which you see, it's going to be a running play. And on paper, it seems pretty simple, right? Philadelphia has a blocker for everybody, so all they have to do is make their blocks. So a bunch of one-on-one matchups. Can someone for Kansas City get out of one of those blocks and find a way to make a tackle? Right there is where Willie Gay is, and he has a tough assignment. He is going up one-on-one against Jason Kelce, debatably the best center in football. Kind of the two guys you would probably debate would be him and, also the Kansas City Chiefs center, Creed Humphrey, who of course is very good in his own right, but we're not talking about him. Let's see what Willie Gay can do against Jason Kelce. Watch how when this play begins, you're going to see he does a great job of sidestepping Kelce and getting to be in position where he's in the backfield. But of course, this is only half of the battle. You then have to be able to find a way to get over and make a tackle. If you cannot, well then you haven't won anything, right? This is only the first step. But watch him run over and really just make an immediate tackle on Miles Sanders. And this is just what made the Chiefs so dominant, was the fact that it wasn't just Nick Bolton having success. Nick Bolton is a star. Nick Bolton gets the attention. He deserves the attention that he gets. But the other two players were really coming in and thriving in their roles. Something like this was another example where what's going to happen here is it's going to be they're going to fake as though it's a handoff to Sanders to the offense's left, but Hurts is going to keep the ball himself and go to the offense's right. Lane Johnson will be the guy in charge of blocking Willie Gay. Again, a tough matchup. The reality is there are no easy matchups with this Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. If they're using an offensive lineman to block you, it's going to be a tough matchup. It's just that simple. Watch how when this play begins, though. Really, this is just a great read by Willie Gay. He knows his assignment, and he knows he has to be the contain guy. If there is an opportunity that Hurts is keeping the ball himself, he has to be on the outside so he can get in position to tackle Hurts if he does go towards the outside. It's understanding your assignment and doing your job, and that's what Gay is doing, because if Hurts runs up the middle, well, then he's trusting his teammates can make a play, and if Hurts runs to the outside, then he's going to trust himself to be able to make a play. Watch as when Hurts gets to the outside, he is not able to gain anything because Willie Gay was all over it. That's just a good, smart play by Willie Gay of understanding what you have to do and being able to pull it off and do it successfully. Again, is that the biggest highlight reel level play you'll ever see? Not necessarily. It's not as big of a highlight reel level play as the last one was, certainly. But at the same time, these things add up, and having a bunch of players doing this consistently is how you can win a Super Bowl. Now let's talk about Leo Chenal, who didn't play as many snaps as Willie Gay or Nick Bolton did, but made a huge impact in the snaps that he did play. So this one is an example where he's unblocked on this play. So he doesn't have to beat Jason Kelce, but he still has to get over and try and make a tackle. He is completely unblocked. It kind of looks like a tight end is blocking him the way the graphic is, but just with the angle of the camera, there's a defensive lineman who's lined up directly in front of where Chenal is, so behind Chenal on the screen. So that's what's going on there. Chenal is unblocked. It's going to be a run to the left. Watch how when Hurts takes the snap and hands the ball off, you see Chenal read the play, starts to move in, and there definitely is a window where he can try and come in and make a play, but he's going to have to get there in a hurry, but get there in a hurry he does. Watch him be able to be so explosive and get over there and make that quick tackle onto the Eagles halfback. Just really good stuff. Again, reading the play quickly and getting over there quickly. Those two steps are what allowed him to be able to make that play. Again, there's this one, which is kind of similar to the second Willie Gay play I showed you of there's a tight end who's supposed to block him on this play. However, right when it begins, you see that right here, he's looking at the quarterback and he's making the correct read. At this point, he does not know if Hurts is going to take the ball himself or if Gainwell is going to get the ball, but he knows that containment is going to be very important here at making sure that you're in a gap to where if it's a run up the middle, trust the players over the middle will be able to make a tackle, and if it's not, be in position to where you can make a tackle out that way. It is a handoff, but Gainwell runs towards Chenal, who was reading the play all the way. He understood what he was supposed to do and was able to make the tackle. So again, just having a good understanding of where you're supposed to go. We kind of talk about on these option plays, a lot of times it's not the defensive linemen, but it's the linebackers who can really come through and make those types of plays. And maybe one of the things that we didn't talk enough about, even though I picked the Chiefs to win, but maybe one thing I still underlooked was the reality that, the Eagles' running game sometimes is about guys, taking advantage of linebackers, getting linebackers out of position. These Chiefs linebackers don't get out of position. They know what they're doing, and they do it very well. I also thought this play was just such an important one where it's going to be, so just to set the stage, the play itself ended up not actually mattering. It's a 3rd down and 1, and they would end up, spoiler alert, they don't get the conversion here on 3rd down, but then do get a 4th down conversion, so whatever. But the play is a very fun one, so that's why I want to talk about it. Leo Chenal is going to get double teamed on this play, but not really. So you have Devonta Smith, who's going to kind of surprise him. Again, Devonta Smith, not the best blocker. He just doesn't have the frame for it. Pretty good, actually. Better than you would expect. But still, size does matter in blocking. It does. But you have him, and you're also going to have an extra offensive lineman kind of start off blocking. They're going to block Chenal for a certain point, but then one of them is going to get off to block Nick Bolton. That's the way this is supposed to work. It's going to be a pitch towards the bottom of the screen. However, watch what Chenal does here, and watch how he's able to really power through and push Smith back to the point where if it's just Smith on Chenal one-on-one, it's probably a scenario where I think this offensive lineman's actually doing the right thing of, you don't want to lose 3 yards here. You have a 4th down if you don't get it here. Make sure you at least take him out of the play and hope that your halfback can beat Nick Bolton. But Chenal has successfully taken another blocker out of the play now and given Nick Bolton a chance to make a play. As you see, make a play Nick Bolton does. Again, even in a video where I'm talking about the linebackers who aren't Nick Bolton, some Nick Bolton plays are still going to come up just because he was all over the field that night. It's kind of similar to how, in my Travis Kelce video I sort of joked about how it seems like every time I make a Travis Kelce, I make just a Chiefs offensive video, even if it's not about Travis Kelce, he shows up. So I guess it wasn't the Travis Kelce video I made. It was, I think, the Chad Henne video or a different one. But, it's the same thing with this, where every time I talk about the Chiefs defense, it's about Nick Bolton. And I feel like Nick Bolton is the guy who just always seemingly makes an impact, and it's always seemingly someone who I talk about. But, again, Willie Gay, Leo Chenal, and Nick Bolton, all 3 of those guys playing so well. I know they still gave up tons of points, but they really could have given up more had those guys not come out and had big games in this one and been able to, at times get some key holds and at times get some key stops and allow the team to be able to, the Eagles didn't feel as though they could run out the clock in that towards the end, and that was kind of a big thing where they started throwing the ball more, weren't able to get 1st downs, and that kind of allowed the Chiefs to finish off that comeback. Again, it wasn't a lot. I'm not saying it was, but they didn't need a lot. They have Mahomes on the other side. They just needed to do enough, and they did enough to make the Eagles not feel comfortable in their running game, and then it took advantage in the 4th quarter. At least that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on all of this? Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.